Hey everybody, it's Brian and Cayla. Today we're going to be talking about how Nala received two baby rabbits. As you guys know, Nala is an only child and we're thinking about getting a second dog, but we thought it wasn't the best time in our lives to get a second dog and we thought that maybe getting rabbits might be easier. That is a false statement and it might have just been easier getting a second dog. But no regrets, no regrets. That is the rabbit cage, and Nala went in there and refused to come out. She's such a weird little dog, and she kind of looks like a rabbit in there. So, my friend's rabbits had a surprise litter, and there were four babies. And out of the four, we decided to maybe get one, and then later we're like, well, let's bring her sibling along. And we're happy that we did. And so we were preparing their cage and we were really excited. And I felt like Nala kind of knew that something was up as well. This is footage of us getting the rabbits for the first time. For the car ride, they stayed in this high walled box and they were just cuddled up inside there. And I was so shocked at how small they were. I mean, I knew that they were cute because I had seen their pictures, but it did not compare at all to how cute they were in real life. And so I was just so shocked and I was going crazy because I thought they were so cute and fluffy, but I was really scared that I might hurt them just because they were so tiny. And I was shocked for a second time when I realized just how much they pooped in that little box on the car ride over. So these rabbits were right around 6 weeks, which is a little bit too early to be separated from their mom, but it was the only time I could actually get the rabbits because my friend Sandra was going to be visiting South Korea, and so this was the only time that I can get them. So we ended up naming them Boba and Milk Tea. That one's Boba right there, the brown one, and it's a brown-eyed baby. And the other white rabbit, her name is Milk Tea and she has gray eyes. And that was Nala seeing them for the first time, and we're kind of nervous, so we're just being extra cautious. And that's the exterior of the X pen that I was talking about, which is going to be their play pen. A second reason why we got rabbits was ever since I was young and I read Curious George Flies a Kite, there's a scene in there where Curious George actually goes out to a hutch in the backyard and finds a hutch full of baby rabbits. And so I used to memorize that book as a little kid. So when the opportunity came for me to adopt rabbits, I said, yeah, let's do it. So we're a little worried that Nala might be jealous, but so far she's been loving the rabbits and she'll like run down in the morning to go stare at them and she'll stare at them for hours. It's the cutest thing. In fact, in the mornings, usually Nala would get up slowly and be lazy and still be lying in bed. But now, every morning, she'll get up and run down to see the rabbits and she'll stare at them for hours. It's really interesting to see how she knows and she remembers it and how she just runs down to stare at them. I wanted to talk to you guys briefly how to take care of rabbits. I had no idea, and I did a lot of research before I received them, and also I watched a lot of YouTube videos after I got them. And YouTube's a great resource on how to find out how to take care of rabbits. You learn so much from other people and other owners who have a lot more experience. Now, for some reason, I thought that rabbits just eat like fruits and carrots and that sort of thing, but their primary diet is actually hay. So we heard that alfalfa hay is actually better for babies, but we just ended up purchasing a Timothy hay and they seem to really like it. And apparently, when they were with my friend, they munched on this hay before. So I didn't want to change their diet too much, especially because they were weaned from a small age. We wanted them to just kind of continue eating what they were used to. We also give them a little bit of rabbit food pellets. Those are high quality pellets and they're made from Timothy hay as well, but the formulation's a little bit different and it's supposed to supplement their diet with additional stuff that's supposed to be good for them. So that's what we feed them the majority of the time. For water, we don't use those upside down bottles that you attach to the side of the cages. Those are more appropriate for hamsters, I guess. But for rabbits, they are like little dogs. So we give them what we give Nala pretty much, which is a bowl of water. And it works out great. I was surprised at how much water a rabbit can actually drink. You'll see a bowl there on the floor of their cage, and they pee a lot too. So I was actually surprised at how much water they consume and also how much water they pass through their system. So I want them to be as hydrated as Nala. So that's what's been working for us. Rabbits will meticulously groom themselves, and if they're a bonded pair like these two, they'll groom each other, and they swallow quite a bit of fur. So it's important for them to have a lot of hay and a lot of water to help them pass that fur through their system, and then they don't get fur balls in their stomach. So I thought that was really interesting and a fact that I didn't know. So make sure you always have an unlimited amount of hay and water readily available for them. It's really important for their GI system and to keep your rabbits happy and healthy. We're in the process of litter box treating our rabbits. So 99.9% of the time, they will pee in that litter box. And 80% of the time, they will poop in that litter box, which is great. The other 20% of the time, we'll just have to sweep up that poop. But their poop is like seriously like Cocoa Puffs. It's dry and pretty much odorless. So I'll just take a small hand broom and I'll just sweep it up and I will place that poop in the litter box. And so far, it's been manageable. One thing to know is that rabbits will eat their own poop, which is great. It's gross, but if you see a cluster of poop that's really wet, you have to kind of allow them to eat it, which is really nasty, I know, but apparently it's like probiotics or something to them. It's a different type of poop, I guess, and when they eat it, it's filled with good bacteria for their gut, like good flora, but also it's more nutritious, I guess. And I don't know, you're supposed to let them eat it. So when you see that, just kind of let them be. It's pretty nasty when you see it like on their mouths. I try to wipe it as best I can. It's gross, I know. A lot of our friends have been wondering how Nala does with the rabbits. She really just wants to play with them, but Nala is kind of a hyperactive dog sometimes, and when she sees rabbits or small things, she wants to chase them. So we know that she's pretty gentle, but just in case, we want to keep them separated until the rabbits are a little bit older, and then maybe they can run and play together. Speaking of running around and playing, we want to make sure Boba and Milk Tea are happy. So when we can, we let them out of their cage and outside of their X pen. It's useless right now having the X pen because they fit through the bars. So we just kind of let them run around the house really and explore, and it's so cute watching them. We just make sure that Nala is not, there ready to lunge at them or anything like that. We do let Nala watch them from outside the cage, and Nala seems to be fairly gentle. We're just extra cautious with her. But yeah, the rabbits are so cute, and it's so cute watching them hop around the house. One thing to consider is if you are thinking of free roaming your rabbits, you got to make sure that the cords and everything are tucked away and that the house is rabbit proof. So just keep that in mind. They lick and bite and they'll chew on things, so just be extra cautious. One thing to consider is that rabbits are not exactly like dogs. They're not the most cuddly of animals, and they can cuddle, especially Milk Tea likes to cuddle at times. But other times they are prey animals and they do want to run away. They don't like being picked up and they don't like having their feet off the ground. So just be careful and slowly ease them in. I also take extra precautions when Nala is there and make sure that she can smell them but that she can't lunge at them. It's a process and I want them all to be as safe as possible. So far, Nala has been pretty good about not nipping their paws or anything like that. We're just extra careful. Hi guys, so as you guys have probably seen, I am really trying to introduce the bunnies to Nala slowly but surely, and today Nala was allowed to like sniff the bunny's butt and just kind of get more familiar with the bunny's scent. So that's what we're working on. Nala is, of course, such a sweetie, and she's so good at dog parks. And even if another dog is up in her face, she will respect their space and just kind of give them a look. And she's so sweet. But again, she's a dog, and it's hard to gauge what will trigger an animal. So don't be overly confident that your animal won't bite smaller ones. I read that around Easter time, a lot of people will purchase rabbits as gifts for small children, only to realize that they're a lot of work and they're not cuddly and they scratch. And so sometimes they'll release them into the wild, or they'll post them on Craigslist or these other sites where they'll list them as free. Oftentimes, those rabbits become snake food, and if they're released into the wild, chances are they won't survive. They'll either be roadkill or just be dinner for a bird or an eagle. If you're thinking about getting a rabbit, just know that it's quite a lot of work. You have to clean their litter box, you have to pick up the hay that they drop, you have to clean the rabbits themselves. Sometimes, if they soil themselves a little too much, it is quite a lot of work. So make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into and that you're willing to put in the work. Also, rabbits are not like dogs in the sense that they don't need to be bathed, but if they do soil themselves, like if there's poop attached to their butt, you do need to clean that off. Just research kind of how to bathe a rabbit. You're only supposed to bathe, like spot clean them and bathe them section by section, so just be careful and make sure that they are warm because they are prone to hypothermia and sensitive to temperature changes. So keep that all in mind. Rabbits can develop sores on their feet from standing on top of wires or harder surfaces. And so I actually purchased these little hand towels, and they're exclusively for the rabbits, and they use them as little mattresses, and I could switch them out and clean them and throw them in the wash and keep them always clean. So that's great. I purchased these rabbit themed placemats. They're Easter placemats, and I purchased them right after Easter, so they're on sale. And I could wash them and switch them out if they get dirty. And it became a little carpet for them, and it creates traction for them. And I feel like it'll prevent their feet from getting all sore. So that's been great. And the rabbits seem to really enjoy sleeping on top of it and playing with it. So that's really good. That's Nala right there. Boba and Milk Tea have their first vet appointment coming up. The purpose of that appointment is to ensure that they are both girls, because if one is a boy, we're going to have to neuter him just so we don't have a million rabbits running around. As you guys know, they reproduce very rapidly. So, as cute as that would be, we want to make sure that we're able to take care of them and that we're not contributing to the problem of overpopulation of rabbits. So, we want to make sure that they're both girls. We also want to make sure that they don't have any parasites, and if they do, we're going to fix that problem. Rabbits are considered exotic pets, so you can't take them to a regular dog vet. You want to make sure that your veterinarian is knowledgeable in how to take care of rabbits, because I guess it's very different than taking care of a dog. It's important to groom them as well. Once their fur grows in, since they're dwarf lion head rabbits, the fur around their neck will be especially long. You need to make sure that you are grooming them and brushing them out. Yes, they'll groom themselves, but you also need to brush them out. That will ensure that their coat is nice and healthy and they don't have any mats. You also have to trim their nails. That is a pain in the butt. This was my first time cutting their nails, and you have to really be careful because just like dogs, they have a little pink section within their nail where if you cut that, it is painful to them. And in baby rabbits, it's really hard to see. So I actually had to call Brian, and he had to help me cut the rabbit's toenails. I think rabbits are really great pets for people who live in smaller spaces, maybe an apartment. They don't bark like dogs, they don't require as much space as a dog. As long as you rabbit proof your apartment or townhome or whatever it may be, I think that they're fabulous. They're really cute, and now they run up to me and they stare at me, and it's really cute. I'm still trying to figure out how rabbits communicate with you because I guess they do. I'm just not really able to read their signs yet.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Chick, chick. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Chick, chick. If you're happy and you know it, and you something, show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Chick, chick. Peekaboo. Nala? Hey, no.
They say that if you have a dog or a cat, that you need to make sure that they know what's allowed and what's not allowed. So I have to be stern on Nala. But I want to make sure that Boba and Milk Tea are both safe. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. There'll be more Boba, Milk Tea, and Nala videos in the future, so make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. Love, Nala, Boba, and Milk Tea.